Yeah, man, this is the time of the end. So I want to start by giving all the praises, honor, and glory to whom it rightfully belongs, which is Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, ever well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect of Israel. And this lesson, is going into one how, in Nepal, right? Which basically, let me see where Nepal is at. Where is Nepal? Okay, it's a country in South Asia. Recently they've been having protests, and damn, it got bad. So I just want to show some stuff here.
Breaking news, y'all. And I don't know if you guys are hearing about this because they're not calling it what it is anymore. But the government of Nepal has collapsed, y'all. The whole country is on lockdown because they banned social media everywhere. It got so bad that the police had to spray down the people with water, y'all. It's crazy out there. So guess what the Nepalese people did? They hit the streets to just... They showed them how groovy that they wanted to get in this music festival, y'all. Like, it was non-stop party action, jumping, crisscrossing. It was everything, crisscross making. And guess what, y'all? Even the Nepalese people in New York threw their own type of music festival. Although this one was a little bit more calmed down. See the guitar right there, y'all? Because, yeah, they're not going for this because they can't even get in contact with their people.
4 hours after protests against a social media ban in Nepal turned deadly, the government has reversed the restrictions. 19 people were killed and hundreds wounded when demonstrators clashed with police. State TV has reported police had been using tear gas, water cannons and rubber bullets, but also yesterday opened fire with live ammunition. It is said to have come when some of the thousands of young people gathered outside the parliament building in Kathmandu pushed through barbed wire and tried to storm the complex. In all, upwards of 100 people.
Apparently, this was supposed to be a peaceful music festival, but I guess some dancers got out of hand.
It was supposed to be a very peaceful protest, but it turned out to be the most ridiculous one in the history. I don't know what's happening. Guys, Nepal government, what are you doing?
The protesters then took it to the parliament building where the prime minister resides and forced him to resign, y'all. And then they burned his private home down. This music festival is crazy, y'all. But y'all, did y'all know about this? I told you the Nepalese people are burning everything down. They are burning everything down, y'all. And there's a lot going on. Let me know down in the comments below, y'all. The shift is here. Let's continue to get it. Peace in. Breaking news, y'all.
Right. And then this one. So I showed you, how intense. Okay, that protest. Now check this one out. This one is really, when the scripture says they shall not regard their kings, you're gonna see it. Watch this. It said Nepalese mob has reportedly caught up with the Minister of Finance. Nepal's finance minister, so this is a guy in a head position, Vishnu Prasad Podel, that's his name, reportedly flogged and chased down a river by furious Gen Z protesters as anti-corruption demonstrations escalate. That was him, with the helmet on going down the river, and the guy came up and hit him, punched him and whipped him and stuff. It says Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli resigned after violent clashes left 22 dead with his wife. Finance Minister Podel, Foreign Minister Arzu Rana. However, they got weird names, man. It says former prime. All right. It says others targeted. Protesters. See, so all these people in these head positions is targeted. It says protesters set fire to residences in Parliament, defying curfews and shutting down Kathmandu's airport. Okay. And you go here, right? Nepal parliament set on fire after which means Prime Minister, resigns over anti-corruption protests. Let's check this out.
Jesus.
That was the smoke back there. But it says, Prime Minister, this is what it's about, right? This came out September 19, 2025. Prime Minister KP Sharma Ali has resigned amid Nepal's worst unrest in decades. This has been like one of their real bad ones. It says, as public anger mounts over the deaths of 19 anti-corruption protesters and clashes with police on Monday. On Tuesday, crowds set fire. So this past Monday this happened. On Tuesday, crowds set fire to parliament in the capital Kathmandu. All right. Let me move, man. All right. Slakia. I had to be the spirit, man, because I just turned around, you know, and man, yo, I just turned around and boy, and looked through the window, you know, something was telling me like turn around, look through the window, and in this apartment building I'm in, you know, there's people sitting around, you know, sitting around, and I thought nobody was over there, but I turned around and saw them over there. But anyways, it says, on Tuesday, crowds set fire to parliament in the capital Kathmandu, sending thick black smoke billowing into the sky. Government buildings and the houses of political leaders were attacked around the country. 3 more deaths were reported on Tuesday. Amid the chaos, jail officials said 900 inmates managed to escape from 2 prisons in Nepal's western districts. The demonstrations were triggered by a ban on social media platforms. It was lifted on Monday, but by then protests had swelled into a mass movement. So this protest is over. It's over them banning social media. Okay. You know, I guess they're upset. They can't get online, man. You know, can't get on social media. All right. And ultimately, that's what the scriptures, you know, talked about, man. And also, too, because I was doing lessons recently talking about these different earthquakes that popped up. Once again, you know, you had one yesterday, 5.8 earthquake detected 102 miles off of Oregon coast. No tsunami threat expected. So this goes to show, man, we living in those times. I believe we living in the times of the end, man. Okay? Because what the scriptures say, this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9, starting in verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past. So basically, first off, I'm going to read it again. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. Meaning, look at the times you live in and gauge it, you know, with the prophecies. Match, you know, you yourself look up the definition of the word gauge if you don't know what it means already. All right? But look at the times you live in and gauge it with the prophecies. Okay? It says, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I've told you before, meaning when you see the prophecies come to pass, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, see, which there has been a whole lot of earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, protests, like we just seen in Nepal. All right, you had this thing, you know, recently with Trump, you know, no King's Day, right? They protested on his birthday, you know. So when these things happen, it says, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. right? So then you're gonna, realize that, look, the Lord already spoke about all this, by the way of his prophets already from the beginning. Okay? I believe we're living in the times of the end. And it goes to show Gorilla Hebrew is off. Gay Rilla Hebrew, he's off. Talking about got 1,000 years. You're wrong, man. All right, look at the times we're living in, especially with everything Trump is doing. Okay. Yahweh Shai said one of the signs of his coming was earthquakes. Matthew 24:7. I ain't gonna read that. All right, but one of the scriptures I wanted to get before I forget was 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and 2nd Ezra chapter 15. I fucking hate these Edomites, man. I fucking hate them, man. 2nd Ezra 15, verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men in invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So you're going to have people going up against, the government officials, like you saw in the video, where they chased the financial minister, I believe that's what they called him. But they were chasing him down the river. They were chasing a government official down the river and whipping him. Check that out. You're going to see more of this stuff in the last days, man. You're going to see a whole lot more of these things, man. It's just the beginning of it, It's going to get worse. People think stuff is bad now. It's going to get way worse, man. Way effing worse. All right? But, hey, man, so, Lord willing, this lesson is was edifying and informang, but they so show you, man, we living in the times of the end. Okay? This is it. So with that, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. They were well. And by the way, when you start seeing protests and things, right, happening, people, going at their government officials, the police, and everything, because these things is coming to America too, and it ain't gonna be happening worldwide. All right, but it's gonna come to America too. When you see this stuff, what can the government? There's more of the masses than there is the people. What more can the government do? Besides try to quell some of the people. If the people is fighting against the government, then what else? What can you really do? What can the government really do? That means what? It's going to be lawlessness, chaos. The people is just gonna be running the show, so to speak. Then, all right. And with that, peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. Shalom to the elect.